Welcome to Caldwell County Today. I'm Paige Counts, Public Information Officer for Caldwell County. Joining me today is Keith Smith. Welcome, Keith.
Hi, Paige. Nice to see you.
And we're here now to talk about your upcoming production at the HUB, Madam Buttermilk.
That's right. It's our 32nd dinner theater production. Been going since 2003. And every show's special or we wouldn't be doing them, but the special thing about this show is that I got to meet the playwright, and he's a fine fella. This show debuted at Barter Theatre back pre-COVID. It was written about 2016, and it was in a big Barter and Beyond Southeastern Theater competition, and it won, so it enjoyed its debut, its initial running, and then a fleshed out version at Barter Theatre very successfully. Sold out runs night after night. And I happened to go see it. I knew someone who had seen it, and I went up. And the first time I saw it, I liked it very much. But I went back, and it was just a whole different level. And I think the thing, we talk about live theater is so special because it's interaction. There's a character of the stage manager who takes herself very seriously because she's, I think, kind of intimidated and not so sure of herself, so she really has this big bravado on stage. And so she tells the audience out in the show, within the show, they're getting ready to have this show at the state fair, so you've all got to be quiet, very quiet while we're adjusting the sound. And this guy in the audience, not planned at all, just sneezed, one of the loudest sneezes I've ever heard, and everybody in the audience cracked up. And her reactions were priceless, and the whole cast used that the rest of the show. And it went from already a very special show to up here. So sometimes that's the beauty of theater, from night to night, live theater. You never know which direction, just one little nuance can take it in a whole different direction. But anyway, while I was there, I met the playwright, and his name is Ross Carter. He lives in Louisville, Kentucky. But his show was chosen, as I said, and it's very unique. And it started, he was writing with some buddies, and they were talking about what if worlds of music collided. And this is called Madam Buttermilk because the lead character in the show, Carly Speranza, is an opera singer, a trained opera singer. And her lifelong dream, and she's still young, but her lifelong dream has been to sing the role of Carmen in the opera by the same name. Well, it's just frustrating. She's not getting many roles, period. But she's a starving artist. She has a roommate named Kit McCandless, and Kit is also her agent. And so just as Carly comes home one day, Kit is getting a phone call, and it's, yes, you need Carmen. Yes, she knows all the songs in Carmen. Yes, you need her tomorrow night. The lady who sang that role had a tonsillectomy, and she can't sing, so they got a big gig the next night. Can she come in, rehearse one night, and then go on? Yes, and they sign a contract over there and everything. So she gets there and finds out it's a group called the Carmen, who are a country band singing at the state fair. And instead of a mezzo-soprano, we had to talk to a mezzo-sopranos and didn't get anybody to do it. And so it's grand. She sung at the Grand Ole Opry. No, it's Grand Opera. So there are all these little confusions, and it's just hilarious. And I may be giving that away, but people know this anyway going in. You need to know that if you like any kind of music, this show is for you. If you like country music or grand opera or the Grand Ole Opera or anything in between, this show's right up your alley. And it depends very heavily on getting a strong operatic soprano, which we have. Miss Allie McNeely from Hickory, and my take is she's not going to be around this area for very long. She went to LR and then got her master's of music at Eastman School of Music, being featured in opera. And she went to Hawaii last summer, and she's been to Prague, Czechoslovakia, and she just auditioned in New York the other day to go for summer programs in Italy and or France. And like I said, I just don't see her staying in this area very long. So while we have her, I'm glad that she's available to us, and delightful young lady. So you have 8 characters in the show. There are 4 men and 4 women, and then some other members of the band and some singers with the band to help flesh out all the harmony. And our cast is very pleased with our cast. We talked earlier about in another show and just before this show about how a lot of the people who sing with my men's chorus or Home for Christmas choir are also performers in our plays. And in this play, the 4 men are Adam Lowry, Most of you know him from having the big long beard and the very big hair, but he's going to be the country star in this one. Or well, the leader of the Carmen anyway. His name's Ford Fairlane. So I met Adam. We were doing our fourth big fall musical was third was Guys and Dolls back about 6-7 years ago. And I was going there early to set up for auditions. It was like 6 o'clock, and auditions started at 7. And this guy walked in I'd never seen before. Didn't know him from Adam. So Adam had a beard down below his navel and hair down below his rear. And he came in, and I checked him, and he wanted to audition. And he did great. And I said, well, you know, you'd have to cut your hair if you got this role because it's set in the 1940s, 1950s. I said, what did I say, Guys and Dolls?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It's Guys and Dolls. And so it's Damon Runyon sitting back in the early 50s, late 40s. He came into auditions the next night, very clean. He still had a beard, but was very well controlled. Might have even been shaven, I don't remember. And his hair was cut short. I said, this guy means business. And he's been doing shows with me and singing in the men's chorus ever since. And he's a great addition to our troupe of theater people. But he's going to play Ford Fairlane. And his girlfriend is the one who has had the tonsillectomy, and her name is Dodie. She's known on stage as Pinto Packard, and she's not able to sing.
I'm sensing a theme here with his name.
So she has to, it's all car related. She has to, the Carmen, she has to do all of her motions and gestures because she can't sing. And Angie Warren, who's done a lot of shows for us, Bill Warren's wife at the Gold Mine, and Bill might be playing guitar. We're still working on that. But Angie, is delightful, always has great facial expressions, which will suit her very well in this role. So she and Ford are a team, okay? Then Carly, when she comes in and gets roped into this, and the reason she can't back out is she signed a contract, so she backs out, she's never going to work again. And when all of her opera people see her, they're going to take her seriously, so she thinks she's doomed, you know, but it all has a silver lining. Her former college boyfriend, Connor Duke, has, unbeknownst to her, he left school and left her seething, and he shows up there. In fact, it turns out he's the one that's recommended her to come to do this role. He has gone on, changed his name to Earl Conway, and gone on to become a big country star, which she knows nothing about because she's not in that realm. You know, so they reunite during the show. And then that obnoxious stage manager I talked about, her name is Jan Swaggart, played by Ann Wepner, who's anything but obnoxious. She's a sweet lady. She's a pastor. She's done several of our shows lately. She's the stage manager in the show. And her opposite is a guy named Art Flanagan, who is, he's like a local MC, and he has a TV show, and he invites the singers on. That's where Carly and Ford talked at first. And then he's there at the state fair to broadcast. And he and Jan kind of hit it off too. And then the manager of the group, and I should say Ken Twing plays Art Flanagan, and I might have said that, but I'm not sure. The stage manager, not the stage manager, the agent for Carly is named Kit McCandless, and she's going to be played by Holly Dagenhart, who's done about 5 or 6 of our shows, and she's also going to, at the HUB, she's also going to choreograph the show, so I'm delighted to have her there. And she develops these are over a weekend. It's not like they have these long, but they kind of connect with her connection person is Billy Ray Wilson, also known as Beamer after a BMW. He's the manager of the band and a front man to the band, and they kind of hit it off. So it's definitely a musical with mainly country music, but Zydeco and folk music and show type tunes and a good mix of opera mixed in. But it's just delightful how it translates and relates to each segue from one type of style of music to the other. A lot of clever innuendo and little expressions by Ross. Like, for instance, at one time, that you don't really see this because you're not reading the script, with the Audi neighbors, and the script's A-U-D-I, Audi neighbors. So we have a whole car theme, as you said. Their big song, their big hit song that they sing at the VFW Hall all the time is Clutch Me. Come on and clutch me. That's what the Carmen sing. But it's a delightful show, very upbeat. If you're looking for a message, you probably won't find one except to enjoy life and accept other styles of music. This is not To Kill a Mockingbird with deep themes. This is just a fun show, and I guarantee if you'll give it a chance, it will delight you. Even if you're not interested in country or opera, it's fun. So our performance dates for that are March 23rd, 24th, and 25th. It's a little early, but still you can get that on your calendars and save the dates. That's a Thursday through Saturday, March 23rd, 24th, 25th, and then the 30th and 31st, and then appropriately concluding on April Fool's Day, April 1st. And I will say that as of this taping, it's not long until tickets go on sale. Tickets go on sale on February the 13th, the day before Valentine's Day, Monday at 10 a.m. And there are 3 ways you can get tickets for dinner theater at the Hub. You can actually go by the box office there in the Hub at 145 Cedar Valley Road. You can call, and I'm sure we can put up this number too, 828-726-8871. Or the simplest and best way, if you're computer literate, which is, I'm not as much as some people, but even I can do this, so you probably have a chance. You go to either the HUB website or the Town of Hudson website and go to the connection to Tix.com, and that's Tix.com, and you can procure your tickets online with a credit card. But tickets, I believe, don't quote me on this, are $37 or $38 for the show and $19 for the show and the dinner, and then the show only is $19. That's for the balcony or seats in the back if somebody can't get up in there. But those are great seats, and you're going to hear all this music really well. And Daniel Boone has returned to cater for us for this show, so it'll be the standard fare that a lot of people are used to and like from Daniel Boone. And the show runs at 7:30 nightly, those nights I mentioned, and dinner is at 6:30. But the tickets go on sale soon, and we love to get them just going up front. It tends to build a momentum for us.
Yes. So you've told us a lot. I'm trying to.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think if there's anything left out.
I'm trying to think if there's anything you left out, Keith.
Did I mention all the actors? I think I did.
think you mentioned
the 2
the
actors I
cast.
didn't mention are very vital and valuable to the show. One is my cousin, Randy McCall, who's done like the last 3 shows, and he's been a godsend to our theater. Got a fine voice and a fine guy, and he's going to be helping with the harmonies in the band and doing anything we need him to do. He just came in and was willing to do that. And the female singer, who has a glorious voice, and we had her on this show before, Tracy Love, the minister. They're in the band, and they're very vital to the show. And we'll have 5 band members. We're still finalizing that, but a pianist, a fiddler / violinist, a guitarist, a bass player, and a drummer. Almost every show you do, you got to have that rhythm section of a keyboard, a bass, and drums, and we'll have that. They're on stage for the whole production. Then there'll be other people, fairgoers crossing by and that sort of thing. It's set at the state fair, but we'll have some unique things happening for it too. Already starting to cook up some ideas. But Ross is we email every day, and talked on the phone several times, and met him 2 or 3 times, and he'll be coming to the show. Maybe even coming to a couple of rehearsals, so he's going to be very hands-on, and I'm tickled to get to work with him.
It sounds like an awesome show.
It's an awesome show.
I'm really looking forward to this show. I love the musical, so.
Yeah. But it's just even for musicals, it's just a laugh a minute, fun, but it's not. It doesn't sell out just to make those. Well, maybe it does to make those jokes, but it's naturally fun. You don't have to try to manufacture the laughter. It just comes. It's there. Yeah, so.
But it might be one you really have to listen to catch some of those
You might
lines.
have to. That's right.
So,
like Audi Neighbor. Yeah,
Audi Neighbor. I'm afraid I have family members who might adopt saying that because they're such
Audi.
car guys.
Yeah, there you go. Car guys. We get
Car
them. Need to get them to sponsor us. So, I will say our sponsor always. One of our sponsors always is McCrary Modern, who do such a fine job to support us, and we rely on them. And also, we're looking at some grant money from the grassroots Caldwell Arts Council too. So we always like to thank them and give them acknowledgement that they, it takes people to support things. Again, there are ticket sales for this, which help cover some of the cost, but we rely a lot on donations and gifts. So.
Another awesome production, something to look forward to this spring. This is early relatively early spring.
It is. It's actually spring, I guess, is around the 21st, so it's just immediately after spring comes. And I want to mention Carolyn Ackert and Joe. They helped build our sets. Adam Love, Tracy's husband's involved in a lot of technical aspects. Christy Branch, who's one of the finest actresses in this area, she's not acting in this one, but she's our costumer and has been for a while. And so we have, and Addie Cardwell runs everything at the HUB and does a great job. It's great working with Addie. So we have a really good crew of people. It's like a family, it really is. Even more so than in some of the musical, like singing things, you meet once a week. We're there every night for weeks, and then again, show after show, so you really get to know people, and they are considered an extended family.
Well, Keith, I think you've covered everything.
I think we got most of it. We'll either get Ross to come by or Eric come down to interview the cast, like we generally do with shows, since we get closer. But
go ahead and mark your calendar now.
Yeah,
I'm asking tickets early.
I'm asking you to, if you trust my opinion, you've seen shows, you will enjoy this one, and your ladies who come to theater and the men don't want to come, bring your men with you. This fits in right for them too, so that's great.
The band is Carmen, after all.
The Carmen, that's right.
So it's a good time to get those men involved in theater.
Yeah, they can come up on stage and work on some cars. No.
No, that's a whole different program.
That's a whole different program, that's right.
Keith, thank you for being here, and I look forward to meeting Ross or the cast, whatever we can work out in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
And thank you for watching Caldwell County Today.